Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. It's manly, yes, but I like it too. Take your hands off of me, Lucky Charms. Okay, that's all of the Irish brogue I know. And don't ask me why I even went there. You know what, though? I will take that over a senior moment any day. And I've been having a string of them during this quarantine. I don't know what the heck's going on, but I'm here. I do know another thing. I know it's Friday. Hallelujah. Yes, it's Friday. We made it through another week. I was just saying to somebody yesterday, it's really, isn't it odd? You know what I'm talking about. Watch this. How some weeks just fly by during this quarantine. Then you have those others that seems like they're like made out of taffy. They just keep stretching out and stretching out. Anyway, this was a pretty decent week. I mean, up high highs, low lows, a lot of stuff in the middle. Yes, but we're here. We're healthy. We're trying to stay healthy. And today's show is another show dedicated to staying at our optimum health and wealth here, and everywhere we can go and everyone that we're around. We want the world to heal, and we want to show them things and show ourselves and show each other better ways to cope. So today is no different. I've got a great guest. We've got a wonderful show lined up, and we are streaming live across Facebook, YouTube, Roku, Android, Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV, and of course from our home base out in Phoenix, Arizona, that's E360 Television. And I'm your host, Loren Michaels Harris. Welcome to Friday's edition of Bathrobe Moments. Would you please help me welcome my sidekick, my best gal. She's still with us and still under contract. Miss Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. How you doing today? No, we are not still drinking regular Folgers. That lasted a week. I couldn't do it. I ran out and I bought some what's it called? Some kind of mocha. No, I'm lying. Hey, hazelnut. Some kind of hazelnut. And it's really good. And I don't have a turnover, and I don't have a donut today. I am going healthy today because my guest today motivated me to pick up something organic instead of, something crazy. I want to say good morning and thank you and tip my hat to our sponsor, which, of course, is symposium.us. These guys, I tell you what, if you are like most people, you could use a little extra cash, right? Moolah's good, especially in these trying and uncertain times. I was working with Symposium and have been for over 3 years now. I've done over 20 different things on that platform. I happen to be, which I just found out, their highest earner. And that makes me feel good because they have about 5,000 people on there. And so I'm really excited about that. It's been very, very good to me. And so I want to tell you about it. I like to share all the things I love, including the stuff you're going to learn today from our guests. So keep that, get your pen ready, get your thinking cap on, and invite. Trust me, as far as staying healthy and keeping the people around you that you love the most healthy, this is the show. Okay. So right now, while I'm going through all this preliminary stuff, get on the phone, invite them, watch parties. There's the bell of purpose. You know what that means. So please do it. In the meantime, the rest of you get over to the App Store or Google Play Store and get yourself downloaded. Download symposium.us. I have clients, little 4-year-old Loren. He is over there having conversations with other toddlers about how to not be afraid of COVID-19. A 4-year-old. He's making money doing that. People are doing daycare things to help parents keep their kids settled. I know somebody that's doing a vision boarding classes, cooking classes, anything that you're good at, get over there and see if it's a fit for you. It's not for everybody, but it might be for you, and additional streams of income. I'm telling you, I've been talking to the pros. There is going to be a new normal. Don't expect us to go back to what it was. Maybe even never. Wait, or ever. Ever, never, never, ever. Whatever. You get the point. There's the bell. So anyway, symposium.us. I promise you, you will not regret it. You don't know if you don't look. So what do we got going on today on Friday? You know, I love Friday shows. We have more viewership on Fridays than any other day of the week. It gets shared out more than any other day of the week. So I'm really careful on who I stick in that slot. And today, she's back. She was here before, but she's back today with new insight, new ideas. Her name is Jennifer Reiner Vanderhoff. She's the CBD lady. She's educated in it. She's actually a CBD certified educator. So she's not just pulling it out of her patootie. She knows what she's talking about. And that's why I want you guys to hear about it. And what brought it to, and there's studies, just heard about this, that they're starting to look into CBD to see if it can work to help the coronavirus. So, I mean, it's natural. It doesn't have a string of names behind it or ingredients that you can't pronounce. And it wasn't made in a lab. Not like, you know what I'm saying? Like those things that no, it is actually from something that grows. So that means our bodies can identify it and say, oh yeah, okay. All right. If you can't pronounce it, you probably shouldn't put it in your body. Let's just keep it there. Where's the bell? There's the bell. So before we get started and bring Jennifer in, I had a little something that I wanted to share with you. Bear with me. Because everybody, some people, they don't believe fat meat is greasy. They have to hear it from a source that they feel is reliable, that they recognize. And so I brought in my good friend today, Dr. Oz, to see if he had anything to say on the CBD situation. And here's what he had to say.
Health trend that everybody is talking about, CBD oil. Now, it comes from the cannabis plant, and many believe it can help with everything from anxiety and chronic pain to diabetes, even cancer. We're in the midst of a CBD oil boom with products popping up everywhere. Today, Dr. Sanjay Gupta is here to investigate what exactly is CBD oil, and does it live up to the hype? But first, I asked correspondent Marcia Abacampo to find out how big CBD has truly become.
CBD. If you haven't heard of it yet, you probably will soon. The natural herb is taking the health world by storm, with sales of the new supplement expected to grow 700% in the next 2 years.
Wow, you just see great review after great review. I mean, people seem to love this stuff. 4,000 reviews. 4.5 stars.
Short for cannabidiol, CBD is a component of the cannabis plant. Yep, cannabis. But unlike marijuana, CBD does not contain any THC, the psychoactive part of the plant, so it doesn't get you high.
Over the last few years, CBD has started popping up in everything from gummies to face cream to toothpaste. There are even CBD treats for your pet.
So what does it do? Research has been limited, but proponents say CBD has all the benefits of medical marijuana without the intoxicating effects, helping with insomnia, pain management, and anxiety.
There's a revolution, a whole movement happening now with plant-based wellness, which is our primary interest, celebrating the power of all plants, which have not been properly represented.
And the question everyone asks is it legal?
Okay. All right. So there we go. I just wanted to get something in there. Where's my girl, Jennifer? There she is. Good morning, Jennifer Vanderhall. How are you?
Morning.
How's it going?
It is going pretty good here.
I have one question before we really get started. Is it true? Do blondes really have more fun?
Of course.
You heard it here.
Even when you're not natural blonde, you still have a lot of fun. So
There you go. There you go. I'm not naturally bald either. I'm just trying to rock it, you know.
Right.
So I just showed a little bit, as you saw, of just so people, you know, they get it confused between, oh, I'm going to get high. I don't want, oh, I don't want that in my system. I have to drug test this and the other. I mean, and it is everywhere. CBD is everywhere. There's the wine broker that we go to has it set up inside his place now. I've seen it inside of a holistic grocery store. It's just everywhere. But the knowledge isn't everywhere. Okay. People see it and they just assume. They make a lot of assumptions, right or wrong.
absolutely.
Okay. Well, I know that your background, you have a background in sales and marketing, and now you're a CBD certified educator, but you got what really opened up your eyes, took off the cataracts of ignorance as far as what you thought you knew and what the CBD boom is all about and what it could do to help people. Started, I believe, when you said your father's Lewy body dementia. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is, because I didn't, and I'm not going to even have a lot to say, but I wanted to put a little something out so you could understand. I found that Lewy bodies, they're an abnormal deposit of a type of protein known as alpha. What is it? Do you know the name of it? Synculin or something like that. And the deposits affect the chemicals within the brain. So, and they say it's just horrible on the person and even more horrible for the people that have to deal with the person. So you said your father's got worse about 3 years ago and you began looking for ways to help him. So was CBD your first go-to, or how many things did you go through and say, nope, 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 aha. And how did it work? What have you seen happen with your dad?
Well, I mean, he had been diagnosed with it for 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
But with Lewy body, a lot of times what happens is they have they can go along and be fine for years. You know, they can go out, like he would go with my mom shopping, he'd go get his hair cut. But then things can change and then they can have a very quick, sharp decline. And he went from kind of speaking to us to only saying a few things. And you could tell he would be confused because he'd like clench his fists like he knew what he wanted to say, but he couldn't get it out.
Frustrated.
Yeah, like, ugh. And then he started falling all the time. It was like it's almost like he forgot how to walk. And then he couldn't get up off the floor either. And there was really nothing the doctors could do at the VA hospital. And then one night he had a very bad fall, ended up in the VA hospital. I told my mom, I said, it's got to be something else going on with him because like this was so quick that he's not functioning anymore.
Right.
And they basically told us, no, this happens. A lot of times with Lewy body, they have this very rapid decline. And, you know, he was in a hospital bed, unable to even sit up on his own, couldn't walk anymore, couldn't feed himself. And they were ordering a hospital bed to be delivered to my mom's house. And they said, take him home. We're going to send him home. There's nothing else we can do, and take care of him until.
Like hospice?
Yes.
But not using the H word.
And I was like, well, until what? Until you is there another medication or something? And she was like, no, until. And I was just,
oh my goodness,
so taken aback. I was like, oh, it really hit me what she was saying. So I actually, my daughter was away in college. I made a decision to rent my house out. I put everything in storage. I moved to my mom's house because she needed help. I was there all day anyway. And that's when my frustration, which is where I find a lot of people end up looking at something like this finally, is that frustration leads you to go find alternatives. And I was out there just Googling, you know, Dr. Google, as I call it. You know, we always go out and we self-diagnose or look for answers. And I was reading about CBD on an Alzheimer's website. And I'll be honest with you, my perception of it was marijuana.
Right.
My former in-laws both had cancer and used to drive to Colorado to get cannabis oil. So I was like, well, if it's marijuana, I can't get my dad high. I mean, he's 89 with dementia. I mean, that's not an option. Well, he might have enjoyed it, right?
Oh,
true.
Yeah. Right.
But I really started to investigate it, and it really just opened my eyes. And I had a lot of anger as to why do we not know more about this? Why aren't people talking about this? And if this is real, could this really work for him? So I spent months researching what this was, researching brands, ingredients. I went and started doing education, just trying to understand things a little more. And that's when we found a brand we thought we liked. We started him on it December 9th of 2017. And within 2 weeks, I like to say the lights were flickering, like little things were starting to happen.
Yeah.
And I told my mom, I said, don't tell his doctors because they'll think it's marijuana. So we're just doing this. This is like a last ditch resort for us. This is like, we have no more options.
Right.
And so when we saw little things happening, I said, well, I'm going to start giving it to him twice a day. Can't hurt him. And that's when the turnaround really happened. He went from, like I said, being in a hospital bed, unable to sit up, unable to feed himself, to one morning I came down, his legs were over the rails, like he was trying to get up and stand up. And I was like, Dad, stop.
So things were starting to connect again.
Yes.
When a light bulb isn't screwed all the way in and it'll flicker on and off, but finally you tighten it up and boom.
That's what I say. The lights were flickering. Things were happening. He went to, within 2 months, to walking with a walker, getting up into the bathroom, sitting in his favorite chair again. I mean, out of that hospital bed is a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
Feeding himself, telling us his name, which I think it had been 2 years since he had done that. So all these little things that we would take for granted, everyday things, when you start to get them back with somebody you've seen that you didn't know if you'd ever have those things back or have a conversation with them again. So that's when I made a decision. I had to be a part of this. I was like, people need to know about this. I was sharing his story on social media and people were like, oh my gosh, I have a similar situation, or can it help me with this? Can it help me with that? And so my career just took a big, I joke, I never thought I'd be in cannabis in my life, right? And it was either going to be the worst decision in my career or the absolute best. But I think it's been the absolute best because we are helping a lot of people and we're bringing a lot of much needed knowledge. Because like you said, there's so many misconceptions. Even in that video you showed, she was incorrect on something. So,
we'll get to that.
Yes.
Okay. let me jump in here. I want to say something to everybody because you know what page we're on. Good morning to all of you. I see Keisha Gooden, Brandon Neely, Tracy Randolph, and I'm about to mention you, Tracy, so sit tight. Brandy Drake and the rest of the crew, Aaron Hymas. Hello to all of you. Good morning and happy Friday. We're here, in case you missed the opening of the show, we're here with Jennifer Reiner Vanderhoff, and she is the co-founder of a company known as Can I Educate You? Can I, like cannabis, educate you like a university? It's very clever, the name. I want to tell you that. But she was just telling us how she got started in this business with her father. And I want to say the reason I'm having this show today was the same reason I had the V-Phase Body Cleanse people on earlier in the week from Italy, Alaska, and Charlie and Tracy. A key point here was when you got your father out of that hospital. Tracy, let me just preface this and give you guys a setup in case you missed the show when we were talking about this earlier. Tracy's family has had 4 people who have tested positive for the virus. 3 of them died from it. And 3 of them died from it. And her mother, the 4th person, was the one she pulled out of the hospital, took home, gave her an all natural cleanse and everything. And she reversed it and she's doing great now. So, I mean, how many examples? I'm just saying, you know, everybody, anything to stay out of that death chamber. Nothing against the people that are in there doing their jobs. I'm from a medically based family. 90% of my family members are in that business, in that industry of working in hospitals, nurses and doctors and that sort of thing. And so I've grown up around it and I know what it's about, but this is different. And nowadays, you know, insurances and the prescription medicine world and all that, a lot of that is to push us towards things just because it's this for somebody else. So that's why I want people to stand up, perk up, listen up to what we're talking about here. Your life could depend on it, and or the lives of the people that you care about the most. So and listen, the more options you have, the better informed you are, the better chance you have of finding the right thing for you. So, Jennifer, and don't forget, I've got some slides that you brought me. So when you're ready to hit those, just let me know.
Whenever you want to pull them up.
Okay, we're going to take a look at some stuff that Jennifer brought that might help you guys understand. Now, I tried to remember what order they were, but I bet you can work with it. However, what are we looking at? What are we looking at here?
Well, so, you know, in the world of CBD, because we're considered a supplement, you know, we're not allowed to diagnose, treat, make medical claims or anything like that. But one of the amazing things that I think is needed, and we're going to see more and more companies invest in, is real studies, right? That's what's needed to validate what this does. And so our chief medical advisor, he runs the #1 integrative medicine clinic in the country. He just surpassed, well, about 6 months ago, surpassed the Cleveland Clinic. And what's really cool is he's been doing brain scans and really showing what this is doing to our bodies, to our brain. I mean, brain health. If you guys ever saw the movie Concussion with Will Smith, you know, I think a lot of us all over really started to understand what these players were going through and how, you know, at a very young age, some of them in their 30s or early 40s were having those markers of Alzheimer's or dementia. And it was from, you know, that excessive, you know, concussions and hits and all of that kind of stuff. But we also even see that in veterans. We're seeing it in young children. People, you know, playing soccer or other sports, and we don't necessarily look at our brain, you know, if you think about it. But yeah, this was a study they did. It was a 39-year-old former NFL player, and this is over 24 hours. 24 hours. Those red dots are dementia markers in a 39-year-old. Okay.
Well, is that because of all the head trauma?
Yes, all that head trauma. And so what happens even over 24 hours using a CBD is look at the green that's starting to come in. Green is optimal. Green is a healthy brain. But and even some of the red is starting to disappear. So studies like this are so important. Dr. Ron is actually doing clinicals. We did a 3-day screening down at Super Bowl, just this past Super Bowl down in Miami, with 42 former NFL players scanning their brains and even showing in a matter of minutes what it's already started to do, you know, and how it's affected them. And so things like this are going to be important. The FTC, the FDA, everything, it's going to change the way this industry operates. There's going to be a lot of companies that don't make it. Because
what is this TBI? What does that stand for?
Traumatic brain injury.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, wait, we looked at that one.
This is the most remarkable. So this scan on the left, my left, looks like the NFL player with all the red, right?
Yeah.
But this is a 17-year-old girl.
Oh.
And she doesn't have a football career. You know, she hasn't been bashed around in sports, but she was severely depressed. She was suicidal. She was actually cutting herself, harming herself.
Wow.
And she was on antidepressants. You know, her family was very worried for her. And they took her to Dr. Ron, and he started a protocol with her on a CBD and slowly weaned her off her meds and changed her diet a little bit. But look what happened over a 5-month period.
Wow.
Almost a complete reversal.
Yeah.
Which is astonishing to me that, you know, we think about kids in high school and how a lot of them are troubled and have a hard time. And maybe it's because of something like this.
And this is recent.
Yes.
And look at and from October to March. That's only 5 months. That's really great. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. What are we looking at here?
Well, so when you're talking about your health, especially in a time like now, I think more and more people are looking at what they can do to make their body healthier. And I didn't know this. I didn't know we had a system in our body. It's called your endocannabinoid system or your ECS system. It
Hmm.
actually regulates every major system in your body. So even your skeletal system, your endocrine system, your digestive system, your respiratory system. You have what's called a CB1 and a CB2 receptor that actually needs CBD to function properly. So your body can be out of whack.
Yeah.
So I tell people you actually need CBD like a
So,
vitamin every single day.
but wait a minute. So, okay. So just like the other vitamins we need, we get them from our food and this and the other, and then we absorb it. Um, how would we know? You know what I'm saying? How, so what, why, what would have been okay. Cause I say if your body needs it, when we were Neanderthals or whatever, and we were out crawling around and hunting and gathering, we were drawn to the things that our body needed to fulfill those nutritional requirements. So where did the CBD gathering and hunting of get lost
Well,
in, you know what I'm saying?
prohibition.
So, oh, so you're
I mean,
saying that,
when
okay.
marijuana and hemp got outlawed, I mean, hemp was actually a major crop. I think it was back in 1937, Popular
That's true.
Mechanics magazine claimed it to be the next billion-dollar crop. We were feeding it to our animals. You know, it was food for them. So we were feeding it to our animals. We were eating the animals. We were getting, you know, that all of the cannabinoids naturally
Sure.
that way. We haven't had that for a very, very long time. I mean, hemp is just making a comeback right
Well,
now because it fell under, you know, the marijuana.
well, here's
When that,
something that's no, I'm sorry, but I'm
oh, go
looking, I
ahead.
can't help it. My eyes have zoned in on what I feel are the two most important words floating around our universe right now. And I speak to immune system. Because everything is about that right now. So this is very exciting to me that it's tied into the immune system, and also that detoxification word. That's another great one in there. That's why we had the cleanse people on earlier in the week, Alaska and Charlie. Talk about that. Talk about the benefits of boosting and putting a wall of protection, offensive protection, a border, whatever you want, you need to see it as, but some kind of doing something to help boost our immune systems, especially now.
Absolutely.
Do you,
And
what do you
it's needed.
recommend?
I'm sorry.
What do you recommend? Do you do anything? Do you take anything?
I do. I take a CBD every day. It sits, you know, next to my Keurig in the morning. This is the brand that I use.
Okay.
I believe in it. I vet a lot of different, like I'll have people reach out to me and ask me about a brand. And I encourage anyone, if you're using something or curious, you know, you don't have to use what I use. But I will walk through what's in it. And part of our education that we do is we let people know what to look for, you know, because, you know, like the video and like what you said, it's a massive surge this industry is hit all across not just the United States really, but the world, right? And
Yeah.
more and more products are coming out. You can get them everywhere. You can get them at the Walgreens, you can get them at the gas station. But I always say, friends don't let friends buy their CBD at gas stations. Just don't do that. Because it's
Well,
not going to be a good quality product. And I do hope some regulations come down, you know, with the FDA, because we need some kind of regulation in this
well, there you
so
go.
it doesn't get ruined.
Well, that's my
right?
next question. Yes, absolutely. My question was, are all CBD products equal?
Absolutely not. There's some, oh goodness gracious. There's some that don't even have CBD in it. There's some that say they're hemp seed oil, which is great for a smoothie. You know, you can put it in your smoothie. It doesn't have any cannabinoids in it. Hemp oil and hemp seed oil are two different things. The lady said, you know, you can't get high because there's no THC in the product. Well, that's not true for all products. So, you know, I've had people fail drug tests because they were taking a product and they didn't think it had THC in it. And here they are in the medical community and they lose their job because they have to take a drug test and it pops as THC. So all of this education we do, you know, we do these in restaurants and I've done them in hospitals just to educate people. There are options, but you have to know what those are and what you can take. It's very important. So I encourage people, find someone that knows what they're talking about, not just at a kiosk at a mall,
Right.
selling whatever that, is on there and they don't really know.
Or just surfing the web and then finding something that's on sale or someone's reselling it on eBay or something. One reputable source is on the screen right now. You might want to take a picture of that, screenshot it, or just simply do the old-fashioned thing and write it down. It's toy.primemybody.com, where you can go to find out more. And I've got another link for you before we get out of here that I'm going to put up. So write that down. Go and check it out. Now more than ever, we are mandated. I can't think of any other word, but it is mandatory that we do our due diligence. There's so much information that changes from day to day, coming from a million different directions. We already know from the mental health experts that we need to limit how much of the news we let in. And so that in and of itself tells you that the time you are processing and making those decisions that could save or enhance, or I'm going to make up my own word here, de-enhance your life, you need to really spend some time looking at viable options, not just any old options. The old saying, a lot of people we're so conditioned to say, oh, go get a second opinion. Well, you know what they say about opinions. They're like, what? Everybody's got one. I'm more inclined to look for facts, a second set of facts, a third set of facts, a fourth set of facts, instead of 4 opinions. Think about it. So now let's talk about this. The different ways to get your CBD. There's gummies, there's creams. When I go into the wine guy's place, their little corner, it's like stuff everywhere. And, they let you sample stuff, rub this on like it's going to take effect right then. I have arthritis in this hand. And so the guy said, well, put some of that on. Well, it's not going to take effect like right. And then I asked him, well, if I put this on every morning, and say I put it on at 5 o'clock in the morning, when I get up, I should have said I lied. When I get up at 7 and I put it on, and my hand is hurting from arthritis, when can I expect some relief? I don't know.
We don't know. Everybody's body is different, right? So what might work for me in 10 minutes might take you 2 weeks.
So I'm sorry. I just got to know. So Jennifer, so really, do all those things really work? I know when you eat something or you put drops in, because I've done it. I got patches that a follower sent me, but like creams and stuff. Does all that stuff work?
They're all not the same, though. That's the thing. It's like I have used some topical salves that do help with some, like maybe a sore muscle, joint pain, like temporarily. But honestly, if you're truly wanting to use something like this, that's going to help with your endocannabinoid system and help your body function better, you need a sublingual. You need something that like mine, I hold under my tongue. It gets absorbed in the mouth in 35 milliseconds versus going through your digestive tract where you don't absorb as much. So again, even with those, with an oil, there's different ingredients. There's different ways that it's absorbed. There's so many different things, but they can work very fast for people. Again, it depends. Everybody's body's a little different. You may have a very deficient ECS system where mine, I've been, using it for almost 3 years now. I feel, things work very fast for me. I did have a very quick result within 10 minutes, and then I have other people where it takes them a couple weeks. Again, it just depends, what medications they're on, how well their body's functioning. There's so many things that can affect it. But I tell people, don't give up on it because you don't have an instant result. You need to give it a little time, no matter what, to work in your body.
Michael Toy says there's so many companies that are being sued because of their false claims regarding what their CBD oil is doing. But this company is legit, and they are backed by the Hoban Law Firm. Boy, you've done your homework, haven't you, Mr. Toy? So Jennifer really knows what she's talking about, and this is really incredible that Loren has her on the show. Thank you for reaching out, Michael. Now, what about this? So it sounds to me Just like when I want to go to the gym and I don't know anything about working out or what it's going to take to get my body from point A to point M, I'll go and get myself a trainer. Or if I'm going to do anything that I don't, if I go to yoga, I go to a yoga studio because there's a yoga guru up in the front showing me how to get the results I'm looking for. So for something like this, it would make sense to me. And there's no such thing as common sense. We all know if it were so common, I think more people would use it. Ring the bell. It seems to me that you need to find yourself someone that you trust that can help guide you down the path your yellow brick road is different than my yellow brick road. And so all of our journeys are different. So how does one go about finding that right person? Because I'm gonna keep it real. A lot of the people out there's so many, like Dr. Oz said, they're popping up everywhere. So there's a lot of salespeople, and salespeople, you already know that we need to throw holy water on most of them to see if they disappear. Burst into flames. So how do we find the right person if we don't know anyone?
It's a great question. And, I tell people there are a lot of people jumping in the industry, but, we're not selling Tupperware, right? We're selling something that you do need to have some knowledge in. If you're looking to get in the industry, I actually suggest to everybody, go take some of these certifications and understand not just the CBD hemp side, learn about all of cannabis, like marijuana, what makes it different. Like, you need to have some education. There's lots of great companies like Green Flower and Healer. Some colleges have some online courses. Like, educate yourself, especially now we all have some time to do this. There's lots of Google's great. That's how I started. I started to learn, and, you can call me, you can just ask questions. I tell people, if you're going to go into a store or go online, there's a lot of things you can look for. There's a document called a COA, or a certificate of analysis. Okay. Every reputable CBD company should have one. It's a third-party lab analysis report. Why that's important is it's going to tell you if it's got CBD in it. Okay. It's going to tell you if it has THC in it and how much, because there is a legal limit allowed in CBD and there's a non-legal limit, right? That pushes it more into marijuana.
Right.
It's going to tell you if there's heavy metals or pesticides, because hemp, when it grows, is a bioaccumulator. They'll plant it in areas to clean the soil, right? So if you think about that too, it's pulling toxins up out of the soil. So that's why it's important to know where their hemp is grown. Is it organic, right? Is it American sourced organic hemp? Very important. But that COA will break down if there's chemicals, pesticides, lead, mercury, all of that stuff.
Wait a minute. Hold it.
Yes.
Got my attention when you said American, because I heard that little extra of I said that on purpose that you put behind that. So yes. What are you saying? That there is, it's just like, when you order a suit coat on, off the internet from China, and it comes in a package this big. That really happened to me. I was like, how is that a suit? It was like a raft. When I opened up the DHL thing, the whole suit blew up. I'm not kidding. But then, I wore it, and while I was wearing it, an arm almost fell off. So it's not especially when we're buying and shopping online, how they can make stuff look a certain way, yes. This and the other. But this is different because you're going to ingest it. You're going to put it in your body. So what countries, are there any countries we need to look out for?
Well, hemp was just legalized in the Farm Bill of 2018. So we were not growing hemp all over the United States. A lot of times it was coming from Asia or other countries. We do use, in our product, we use American sourced hemp. We actually are starting one of the first hydroponic hemp farms to grow ours as well in Texas. So that's really exciting. It's just, and even with the COAs, make sure they're not a year old. Make sure that this is a company that the COA you pull up is for that product, not just they have one and they have 30 different kinds of CBD and it's a year old. Like, how old are their products? Are they actually doing their testing? We run small batches of 5,000 to 10,000 bottles at a time. On the bottom of them, they actually have the batch number and the date it was manufactured. So when you go on the website, you can look by the batch number and see a complete analysis. I mean, this, even though we can't make medical claims and say what it's going to do, this is a natural medicine, right? This is how we are using this, right?
Okay.
It's homeopathic, if you will.
Okay.
So we want to know what's in it and how, it's important what we're going to put in our body. I mean, like we were saying earlier, a lot of people take different medications and they don't. Have you looked at a bottle of Motrin or Tylenol to see the warnings?
Yeah.
You don't think one bit about popping Motrin and thinking about what it's going to do to your body.
Right.
Why wouldn't you use something natural that our body is built for? You have
because people are lazy.
receptors that need it.
We're lazy. We'd rather just believe because we saw the commercial. It's got to be. It's on the shelves. They wouldn't put it. The FDA. Da 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 da. But again, if that were the case, why in the commercial the last thing the guy says is could cause somebody or death?
Right.
You know what I mean? They make sure you hear that part loud. You heard that? I said death loud and clear, and you still said, well, too bad for your dumb ass. Boom.
Yeah.
So there you go. Okay. So another question. So what about you've been using some of these CBD products for a couple of years now? So what happens if all of a sudden you're stranded on a desert island and you can't get to your CBD products? Are you going to start fiending, itching and stuff and like, I can't function without? I'm just saying. Is there anything in it? Because some people are like, I ain't trying to get hooked on that CBD stuff. Miss Pearly May, she's over there saying, that ain't nothing but them drugs. That ain't nothing but stuff from the devil. So what about people?
Okay, so again, it's something your body needs, and I look at it this way. I tell people, I'm like, okay, do you take care of your skin? Well, yes. Do you use like an anti-aging night cream or anything to help take care of your skin?
Clearly,
yes, because we're aging every day, right? So if you're not using something to help fight the signs of aging, what happens to your skin? You age. It gets wrinkly. You get sunspots.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
We
wish it were that easy. I just thought 10 years. You see that?
Fabulous.
Do you remember when you had none of these roadways on your face? Oh, see, that's why you shouldn't even do that. Because when you let go, it's like, I gotta get used to it.
Walk around like that.
Anyway, okay, so now next question about the products. Okay, here we go. Some people think, and I'm not saying me, it's like, okay, well, there's the recreational. Okay, cousin so-and-so, make me some of them cookies, some of them brownies, some of them cupcakes. I got some in the kitchen right now. I do. I ain't ashamed. I mean, it's natural. It's legal. Don't judge me. I'm just kidding. Well, I'm just saying, though. But it's easy for some people to say, oh, yeah, let's have a good time and laugh. But when it comes to really the medicinal, the things we do to, and here's another thing, Jennifer, talk about precursors, talk about staying ahead of something. What kind of stuff do you recommend that we take a look at in order, because every day, we're not going to be any younger than we are right now, ever again. So what kind of things as I get older should I, or all of us, as we get older, that are CBD based, that something you may like a supplement that it's okay to take every day, because something is wrong, but to keep everything as right as it is.
And you may not know there's something not functioning right just because, sometimes we wait for something to hurt or for us to feel sick, right, before we go to a doctor, not realizing there's an underlying condition going on, right? And so I tell people exactly what you said. I use it as a preventative, as a daily vitamin. Yes, I had issues. I initially, it was for my dad, but I started using it for my own issues to see what would happen. My most prevalent one was my back. 3 fractured vertebrae from a car accident. I was in pain every day. So I was taking lots of different things. And I was like, I wonder if it'll help me. Well, it helped me. And then I started to realize about 3 months into it, I was like, wow, I'm not getting these migraines anymore. And I'm not saying it's, I'm not making a claim, but I'm just saying you start to realize, and there's been other things. I'm like, wow, that isn't happening anymore either. So when you really start to understand your CB1 and CB2 receptors with your endocannabinoid system and how, I mean, you have receptors in your blood, in your eye, I mean, everywhere. It affects everything in your body. You would be like, I need it now. I want to take it. To me, it's a preventative. I would absolutely use it every single day. Your body needs it.
You are just, I know you're all cute and blonde and all that kind of stuff, but I'm going to have to ask you, like I do every guest, to refrain from using words that have more than 6 letters. I'm just saying, public school.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so what about this one? What about this one? So, confusion. A lot of people, and don't act like y'all don't know what I'm talking about or what I'm about to say. Gummies. I was just talking to somebody the other night. She was like, this old church lady shocked me. We were doing a FaceTime because I hadn't talked to her in a long time. She said, look at these gummies I made. And they, green apple. And she had them all laid out in a Tupperware thing with wax paper in between. Like she knew what she was doing. And I said, is that some medicinal stuff? She goes, no, I take one of these at night and I sit back and listen to my music and it just takes me off to sleep land, la la land. And I'm like, okay, so then now what happens to me is when I'm in the store and I see gummies, because everything's turned into gummies. Even in the regular CVS line, I see vitamins are gummies. This is now in a gummy form, gummy. So what can we do? I mean, it's like 2 different worlds. It's like going in a store for something or going on the street. It kind of is.
Yes. Depends what you want, what you're looking for. I mean,
So the stuff in the store, is any of that with THC in it the equivalent of stuff you're going to get from, cousin Lucretia?
The stuff you're probably going to get from your cousin is probably very high THC levels. It's going to be something that's obviously it's going to make them feel good and mellow you out, probably give you a little bit of munchies.
It has nothing to do with why I'm meeting right now. I'm just saying.
I mean, that's why my in-laws used it because, it was the only thing that worked and helped them with their pain was the marijuana. The cannabis oil was really thick and dark and it smelled like marijuana. It was like, woo, my goodness. But, CBD has become something that where people are very anti-marijuana. I don't want to get high or they need it for their children. CBD has boomed because it's low in THC. You're not going to get high. You're not going to fail a drug test. And there's, ours is a broad spectrum. We don't have THC in ours. We removed it because there were so many people that couldn't take it because of a drug test. But we replaced the THC with something called CBG, and you're going to start to really hear more. So it's cannabigerol. It's another cannabinoid like CBD.
Keep playing with me in these big words.
CBG. I'm just going to say CBG.
Okay. Well, I did ask. You're right. I did ask. I stepped in that one. Okay, you're right.
But there's a lot of exciting research with the brain, stomach issues like Crohn's disease, glaucoma, Huntington's disease, all sorts of stuff that's coming out with CBG. So there's other cannabinoids that do some amazing things. But I personally think that a CBD is something that somebody needs to have every single day in their body. It's going to work better for them.
Can you bring me over by the Herbalife stuff, that little brown thing with those patches in it? It's like a cardboard box. I want to ask you something. One of my followers are always sending things in the mail. Like I got thank you. I got I'm not going to show the name, but I got this Stretch Armstrong stuff comes. But I have a follower who is very, very big on the CBD. And I remember when she's so great because when I was getting ready to go in for my complete knee replacement surgery, she sent me some stuff and said, start taking this now. It's going to help you with, and it did. And then she also sent me these patches for anxiety, because she was like, you're taking because I mentioned on the show that I was taking, these, because I have ADHD and taking anxiety pills. She said, my kids, I put these patches on them. I have a kid who has ADHD, whatever it is. And I can't do acronyms over 3. So anyway, so Well, and I remember the first thing I said, I thought rather, I didn't say it out loud, was like, what kind of mother are you giving this stuff to your kids? So talk about that. Kids are benefiting. And so, you know what I mean? A lot of people don't realize that. So how early can anything CBD related be introduced into a child's life?
Well, there's people doing it very young, actually. Some of them are working with some doctors, and some of them are just working with, trying to get whatever they can, even if it's marijuana or the CBD, for children that have seizures. There was a story, little Charlotte who just passed away. She was really the huge, I'd say, gosh, it's been almost 5 years now. She really brought CBD to the forefront. Charlotte's Web CBD company is actually named after Charlotte. She was a little girl who had, I think it was over 400 seizures a week, and they bred they bred a higher strain CBD, lower THC oil for her. And, her story really catapulted CBD to the forefront. The Stanley brothers who started Charlotte's Web, I mean, their story is amazing. And what they did to bring this out was huge. Her story was huge. Unfortunately, she just passed away about a month ago, which is really, really sad, especially for the community that we're all a part of, because her story was so powerful. But if you were to go out on YouTube or Google, what does this do with children? You will see parents sharing videos of children at a very young age.
Wow.
It's actually, even Dr. Oz and Sanjay Gupta, they did a story of a young man who, he could barely speak. It was because his stomach would contract so much. It was like he would talk like this. And he had like 30 pill bottles. But within a minute of smoking, it all went away.
Wow.
And he was speaking normal. And Dr. Gupta had it on, video. He was like, wait a minute, you're talking completely normal right now. And you haven't had to take any of this medication. So the stories are out there. And that's what's so fascinating is seeing what this does. I mean, hundreds of different disorders and things you can think of. There is a story out there of somebody using it, and more parents are utilizing it for their children. The FDA approved the first pharmaceutical grade CBD for 2 types of rare epilepsy. So I know some people that have been on the waiting list to try to get it. It's very expensive. It's about $32,000 a year.
Okay.
Or you could just get a really good pharmaceutical grade CBD from somebody, and it'll probably do the same thing.
So really quickly, welcome to all of you that have slipped in through the side door. I'm glad you're here. Sit down. Still a lot of show left, about 7 minutes. And we're here today with Jennifer Reiner Vanderhoff of Can I Educate You? And we're talking about all things CBD today, trying to dispel some of the myths and urban myths rather, and get some real info into your hands. So it's still not too late to invite some people, or just share this out when we conclude the show in just a little bit here. Christopher Valona says, we got some comments here I wanted to bring up. Says CBD is amazing. Do your research, get the product tested, and that more than 50% of products have no CBD in the product. Boy, that's something to think about. Shelly Dale, she goes, yes, I give mine to my 5-year-old autistic blind granddaughter and my brother's dog, all the way up to my 98-year-old grandma. So Shelly Dale, you're basically giving CBD to everything but your houseplants. Loving that. And then Shelly also had to say that we have 500 cannabinoid receptors in our bodies. And Shelly, that's your first warning about using words with more than 6 letters. Okay, because I got to read it. Somebody else had something to say here. Hold on. Brandy. Hi, Brandy Drake. Okay, so there toy.prime my body. That's what we had that on the screen. It's the website to where she buys her CBD. Okay, she's talking to y'all in there. Great that somebody's paying attention. Oh, because I see why. Because Gabriella, hi, how are you? Welcome. Love your profile. Stay at home. Amen to that. What is the name of the brand you use? My husband is a disabled veteran and he lives with so much pain. Let's talk about that. What about pain management? What would you recommend to Gabrielle?
Well, specifically, I want her to go to that website. So Dr. Ron just did a study with 121 veterans. And all those studies are on the website. I would encourage her to go on there because there's such an interesting correlation between the NFL athletes in that study and the veterans. They're very similar with, head trauma, PTSD, all sorts of stuff. But I have some people with amazing stories, veterans, and how this has really helped them, even with sleeping. Pain,
I've heard
sleeping.
that too, and I'm a veteran.
Yes,
and when I'm at the VA, I'm sorry, but that's true because I just came through this thing with my knee, and so I had a lot of appointments pre and post. And I'm not kidding you. I've heard veterans that are in chronic pain. I mean, guys that have spinal injuries, active duty, duty related injuries and whatnot, and a lot of head stuff, especially migraines. I hear a lot of them talking about that, and chronic back pain. Joint pain, stuff like that, that they're on some CBD regimen. So, because I'm ear hustling, I'm in there listening to everything I can get. And it's true. So, nice. Now, Michael, you had something pretty lengthy to say. He says CBG is the precursor to CBD. So they extract. You sure know a lot. So they extract it out of the plants at 6 weeks old. So this is incredible, and a lot of companies don't do this because it's expensive, and the science behind it. Amazing. And Jennifer's company is doing this to advance where this industry needs to go, to help so many disorders and people that don't want to get high but want to have all the medicinal benefits of marijuana. And before we get out of this show, we got a couple more minutes. Really? People are giving it to their pets? Is there a pet line, or do you give your pet what you take?
No. Okay. Thank you for bringing that up. That's very important. So I'm going to say human and pet. Okay. I'm just going to say that. So there are some human CBDs that have great ingredients in it, that even some sweeteners, artificial sweeteners that, are so for us. I mean, we're a generation that likes our stevias or our Splendas and all of that stuff. The problem is it can be very toxic to dogs. So there's a sweetener that a lot of CBDs are using called xylitol.
Okay.
And it's safe for us. I mean, it can cause stomach upset and stuff like that, but it's an artificial sweetener. The problem is that in a pet, if you give them that human CBD, it could kill your dog. It can cause liver failure.
You don't want that.
So if you're not sure of the ingredients of the human CBD, make sure that you research this pet CBD, that it's organic, that it's natural, it's got good ingredients in it. There are some good ones out there. Of course, we have one that I love. It's all organic and stuff like that. But just make sure, if you are going to try to give them a human CBD, that it does research those ingredients. I had somebody send me one. Can't I just give this to my dog? And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, call me right now. Don't give that to your pet. There's xylitol in it. Like, your pet will die. It'll have liver failure. So it's just, you got to do the research with something like this. And
for everything.
Yes, absolutely.
And that is a great way to round this out, wrap this up. You guys, Jennifer, thank you so much. We could sit here all day talking about this and still not even crack the